Okay, I know it's a sad day for many of you since we're done with division, but we are actually starting algebra today. That's right. So today we are going to start with the basics. Today we are going to learn how to write algebraic expressions. Now an algebraic expression is like a math number sentence, okay? And oftentimes in those algebraic expressions they put what we call a variable. A variable is an unknown number that we don't know yet, and we have to solve for that number. We substitute a letter of the alphabet, and we make that into our variable. It can be any letter of the alphabet that you want, okay? Any letter that you want. However, I will warn you that using the letter T often looks like a plus sign, and using the letter X often looks like a multiply sign. So you might want to stay away from those two letters. Although, on your assignment today, of course, what does the book do? But they use the letter X several times. And I hate it when they do that. America?
Does it have to be lowercase?
Nope. So how can we translate words into expressions? Well, which weight is known? The weight of the jar or the weight of the nuts? The jar. The weight of the jar is what we know. It's 4 ounces. So the unknown weight is the weight of the nuts. Now we can use any letter of the alphabet to make that our variable. And I think we'll use N for nuts. What expression shows the weight of the mixed nuts after they subtract the weight of the jar? Well, we would use that variable letter and make that a math phrase. So anytime you use addition, you obviously use the addition symbol. And what are some words that maybe tell us to add? Plus, together, in all. My poster in the back of the room has more, even more. You can refer to that anytime you need to today. Subtraction. What words do we often see that give us a signal that, okay, I know I need to subtract? What word, Kaden? Are not. Okay, or are not a part of? Alan first. How many more? Fewer. Or less than? Minus. Have left. Yep. Remain. What about the word difference? That's a really important one. Multiplication. If you see the word times or even the word product, because we know when we multiply two numbers we get a product, that's multiply. Now, like they show here, 4 times a number, or W, it kind of looks like an X. It looks like 4XW. So what they do instead is they take that multiply sign out and they just squeeze them together, so it's just 4W. That means 4 times W. Now, does it matter which comes first, the W or the 4? No, no matter. Okay. So like I mentioned before, when you take a number and you multiply it times a variable, instead of using that multiply sign, they just squeeze them together, and it means to multiply. And finally, division. When we divide a number by a variable, we have to be careful. Does the variable come first divided by the number, or does the number come first divided by the variable? Another way to write a division problem is to write it like a fraction. Did you know that 1/2 actually means 1 divided by 2? Yeah. So we can write that either way. Okay, D minus 3 is an algebraic expression. But 3 plus 4 doesn't have a variable in it, so we don't call that an algebraic expression. Okay, using the table, let's determine, well, this is hard to tell. I don't know if we can see in here. Since the weight of the mixed nuts varies, let's let W represent the total weight of the jar and the mixed nuts. So since the jar weighs 4, and we have to determine the weight of the mixed nuts in the jar, we can subtract 4 ounces from the total weight. So the total weight is W minus 4. All right, let's take a look at some guided practice here. How would we write twice the number of people? Now you can use any letter of the alphabet you want to. Any letter of the alphabet. Darius. Q, he says. Times 2. Remember, we don't want to write it like this because it looks like an S, a multiply sign. So instead, we squeeze those two together. Q2. He just liked the letter Q. I probably would have picked P for people. Now, is it okay to do it this way? Sure, because when we multiply, 6 times 8 is the same thing as 8 times 6, isn't it? Sure. So today, all we're doing is writing expressions. We don't even have to solve them yet. Solving comes tomorrow. We're not, yep. $7 less than the current price. Cool? Z minus 7. Does that mean 7 less? Absolutely. Is there any other way we can write this? No, because 7 minus Z is not the same thing. Well, you tell me. Does 8 minus 2 mean the same thing as 2 minus 8? Oh, no, no, no. So when we're multiplying, we have to be very careful. Very careful. 7 less than something. If a number's less than it, we can subtract it. Okay. 8 more gumballs than Javier has. 8 more gumballs. What do you think, Sam? M for gumballs. Okay, now what do we do? Addition. Add what? Add 8. M stands for Javier. We have 8 more than him. So if he had 10, how much would the new kid have? Yeah. Tomorrow we'll move to that step. Today we're only writing variables. Now, is this the same thing? Sure it is. Sure it is. A number of students divided into 2 teams. Dathan? Let's not use X. I hate X. Z. Okay, Z again. Would that be students divided into 2 teams? What's another way to write this that I said? I said that there's one other way, Natasha. Like a what? Like a fraction? Yeah, like a fraction. So we could do Z divided by 2. The bar means divide. Z divided by 2 is the same thing as an actual divide sign. Okay, I would like you guys to pull out your iPads. All you need is a blank page. You don't need stylus today. We're not doing long problems. All you need is your finger. Okay. Here we go. So now it's your job. We're going to do one example at a time. We'll start with problem A. You use whatever letter you want. Any letter you want. But I urge you to stay away from a T, and I urge you to stay away from an X. First example. Please write on your board the algebraic expression that goes with 7 more pieces of paper than Matilda has. And if you would make your pencil or your pen be thick so I can read it from up front, that would be great. Today's secret password is shovel. When you hear it, you need to aim it toward me. Shovel. This should not take you long. So we should have a letter. I just am going to choose M for Matilda. Plus 7. More than. More than. That's right. Did anybody do 7 plus the letter? That's okay. Sure, that's okay. All right, clear. Clear your board. Go on to the next example. Okay, here we go. 3 times the number of paper clips. Remember, we don't use the X. We don't use the multiply sign. Instead, we squeeze. Shovel. Okay, now, I don't want you to erase anything. I want you to look at what you have. I'm going to put P for paper clips. So P times 3. Remember, we don't use the multiply sign. Or 3 times P, because they mean the same thing. They can be small letters, capital letters, it doesn't matter. Kaden? No, I just said that, dear. Any other questions on that one? Move on to a clear screen. Example C. A number of students divided into 4 teams. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about what letter of the alphabet. That is not the important part. America, look at that again. Shovel. Okay, so here are some options. I'm just going to use students. We're dividing the number of students by 4. It is not 4 divided by S. That means we're taking 4 and dividing it by the students. So that will not work. There was one other way you could write this, and I see that Erin P. did this. She put her letter on the top like a fraction. Okay? So S over 4. Either one of those would be the correct answer. Of course, you didn't need to use an S. You could use whatever letter you wanted. Shovel. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Example D is a little bit tricky because, crazily, they forgot a word that I think is kind of important. It should say, the current price of the blouse less than $10. Go ahead. And maybe you don't feel like the word than needs to be in there. You're still going to get the same expression. The current price of the blouse less $10. Shovel. You don't have any operation in there, so it's not an expression. You have to have an add, a subtract, a multiply, or divide. That's what were you doing? Eileen, you may want to refer to that poster in the back like I've mentioned. It would probably be very helpful. Okay, here's what I see. The price of the blouse less $10. So we have to start with that price of the blouse. And it's $10 less than that. This is a tricky one. I don't think we're going to have any like that. If we did 10 minus B, it would be $10 and then take the price of the blouse off of that. Only one way to write that one. That one was hard. I don't think you'll have any like that in your assignment today.